Thank you. I'd like to start by saying I have not touched a physical dollar bill since 2019, and I have never felt more spiritually bankrupt. I'm done. I'm done with your monetary system. I'm done pretending that a piece of paper with a dead white guy on it has any relationship with the concept of value. You know what has value? Photosynthesis. Trees don't invoice each other. The mycelial network doesn't charge a subscription fee. And yet here we are, the most advanced species on the planet, still pretending that imaginary numbers in a bank computer are more real than the water we drink. Let me break it down for you. The problem with money, according to a man who talks to ferns, money was supposed to be a tool, like a hammer, but at some point the hammer became the point. We stopped asking, do we need this house, and started asking, can we afford this house? That's like asking, can I afford to breathe? You either breathe or you don't, Brenda. Here's what nobody tells you about fiat currency. It's just a collective hallucination. We all agree that this green paper is worth something, the same way we all agreed that Beanie Babies were worth something. Except Beanie Babies had the decency to crash honestly. Your currency is backed by the full faith and credit of the United States government. My mushrooms are backed by dirt. I know which one I trust more. Why resource-based economy isn't crazy. It's actually just common sense. A resource-based economy means we allocate resources based on what exists and what's needed, not on who has the most imaginary tokens. It's not utopian. It's not hippie nonsense. It's literally just accounting that includes reality. Here's the part that makes people uncomfortable. We already have enough. We produce enough food to feed 10 billion people. We have enough housing materials. We have enough solar panels. The bottleneck isn't resources, it's distribution. And the reason distribution is broken is because distribution is controlled by a system that profits from scarcity.
But David, how will people be motivated without money?
Brenda, people invented jazz, the internet, and sourdough during a pandemic. Motivation is not your money's job. The part where I roast capitalism with a stick. Let's talk about planned obsolescence. Your phone is designed to die in 2 years. Not because technology can't make it last, because if it lasted, the economy would slow down. We are literally engineering waste to justify the existence of money. That's not an economy. That's a hostage situation with a loyalty program. And don't get me started on GDP. GDP goes up when there's an oil spill because cleanup costs money. GDP goes up when people get sick because healthcare costs money. GDP goes up when a hurricane destroys a city because rebuilding costs money. By GDP's logic, the best thing that could happen to the economy is if everyone got cancer at the same time.
But David, GDP measures economic health.
So does a fever, Brenda. A fever means you're dying. What I actually want. It's not that complicated. I want a world where housing is treated like water, a basic resource, not a speculative asset. You don't charge someone rent for existing in a space the way you don't charge them rent for existing in a zip code. Food is distributed based on caloric need, not credit score. No one should have to fill out a W-2 to eat a sandwich. Energy is treated as infrastructure, not a commodity. The sun doesn't send you a bill. Work is something you do because it's meaningful, not because the alternative is starving. You know what happens when you remove survival pressure from creative work? You get the renaissance. Every time. The part where I admit I'm also kind of the problem. Look, I'm not perfect. I drove here in a Prius that runs on the tears of lithium miners. I have a smartphone. I once paid $14 for oat milk and didn't even question it. I'm complicit. We all are. The system doesn't survive because it's good, it survives because it's addictive. It's the most successful multi-level marketing scheme in human history, and the product is the feeling that you're one paycheck away from freedom.
But David, how do we transition?
One mushroom at a time, Brenda. One community garden, one tool library, one, hey, maybe we don't need to own a drill we'll use for 12 minutes in our entire lifetime. Start small. The mycelium didn't colonize the planet in a day. I'm not asking you to burn down the economy. I'm asking you to compost it. Break it down into its useful parts, keep the innovation, keep the trade, keep the beautiful absurdity of human creativity. But let go of the part that says a child in one country should starve, while a warehouse in another country fills with unsold food. The Earth doesn't have a monetary system. The Earth has a nutrient cycle. Things die, things decompose, things grow. Nothing is wasted, nothing is hoarded. Everything flows. And if a bunch of slime molds and decomposing leaves can figure out a sustainable economic model, then maybe, just maybe, we can too.